This is definitely messed up. And I'm sure there's proper names, or I don't know if they would be considered proper, but they would be labels that were created anyway, like gaslighting and narcissist. And I don't know what. I really don't. This is why it's like, who cares? Don't get tripped up on all that. This has happened to me, embarrassingly enough, but it is what it is. And so it's like that forewarning for others, where it's like, you know who you are, you're confident, you're going about your day, you're doing whatever you're doing. And it's like people, it's like will question you, or I'm not exactly sure how to verbalize all of this, because maybe I should just tell you the boiled down version they were showing was some men think, and this, I'm sure women do this too, but again, this is just how they showed it to me. And then men, it's like they don't think they're worthy or good enough, or have really low self-esteem, or poor self-image, or whatever the case may be, right? And so maybe the label would be projecting. I'm not sure. In any case, these men, they will then, it's like, have the confident woman start to question herself and start to question her own thoughts, her own reality. So I think that's also gaslighting. And it does make you topsy-turvy. It does make you think, oh, I've lost my mind. What's happening? Oh my God, I was wrong. This is what it is. Or you get yourself twisted if you allow it, if you will, play into it, if you allow it to seep in, if you continue the questioning within one's own mind. And again, we talk about this in many ways. You can look at it like, okay, this is a lesson for me. I'm vulnerable here. Why? Why would I give that any second thought? Why would I give that any airtime? Why would I give that any energy? Why? Right? So it's always work for us to do, always, to stay in our own alignment. And I still don't, I definitely didn't get it out, but I don't know how to verbalize it all, because to me, it's such a fucked up way to be. Like, but I guess it's everything. It's all of it. It's hurt people, right? So that person was hurt and they think so little of themselves and they have low self-esteem. So they're going to see somebody with high self-esteem and try to rip them down to their level and be like, see, aren't you glad you got me? Glad I got you. You ripped me down, shredded me, and then try to stand over me. And I'm supposed to be happy about that? What is that, Stockholm syndrome? Like that you're supposed to love the person who destroyed you? It's all of it. It's like all the labels you can come up with seem to have fit into this scenario. And sadly, I've been in them. Sadly, because it's sad that I didn't love myself more, that I wasn't more sure of myself. And this is really important. It happened during a time when I was more healed than I had ever been. So I think that's part of the reason why I'm really sharing this, is because it can happen to anybody. It really can, when we're not monitoring our own thoughts, when we're not in charge of ourselves, when we're not loving ourselves, when we're not surrounding ourselves with the right people, places, and spaces that are loving us back and we're loving them. It's like you want to be around other people who love themselves too, so that they too can stand in their truth. They too can stand in their alignment. So then you can trust them and they can trust you. And it is safe. And you're not worried about people undermining you or talking behind your back or gossiping or doing all these things which will dismantle the relationship. So I still don't know I still don't know the straight line, because honestly, everything was in this one and it was all so close to home. But what I'm trying to get at also is it very much made me think of the things that we've heard in the news, where so many women and men got involved in these types of dynamics where they are probably questioning themselves at some point, like, how the fuck did I get here? How did this happen? Why didn't I say no? Why didn't I stand up for myself? What was I thinking? Why did I let them convince me that I needed them? Why would I need them? Right? Like, and especially when you're connected, when you're covering yourself with your own truth, right? Like when you're standing in your own alignment, then you're and again, you can say it however you want, to God, the universe, source, unconditional love, all these things. Why would you leave that covering? And we do. We fall prey to the illusion, right? To the devil, to the falseness, the fakeness. It's like we get deceived by our very own eyes and our very own ears, right? We're not correcting our thoughts. We're making mishinges. We're questioning ourselves. My point being is it's like, please don't dismiss this message, because oh God, it can happen so easily. It really can. But it's just your alarm. It's just your system saying, you're not loving me here. What is it exactly that you think you're going to get from them that I can't give you? Why do you feel like you need to abandon me to get from them? Like, what is that? That's why it's important to know your why. That's why it's important. So, all these men and women who have done things that have destroyed their connection, that have harmed themselves, that have made them mentally go bonkers, because it does. It's no joke. That's the work to do. Like, what was I thinking? What was I looking to get? How did they convince me? Because they did. They threw up an illusion. They gave you the illusion that you couldn't exist in a happy, peaceful state without them. Whether they were giving you money, they were giving you clout, they were giving you attention, they were giving you a job, they were giving you what? Like what? I'm drawing a blank, but there's lots of gets. There's lots of gets. Like whatever your get is, like they were able to hook into it and convince you that they were the answer to that get, not you. You couldn't figure it out without them. So you're going to have to bend down. You're going to have to go down. You're going to have to do these things you don't want to do, but you have to. You have to, because you want this. And to get this, you got to do this. I'm the only one who can give it to you. That's where you have to be like, fuck, I can't believe I fell for that. Why? Why would I think that? Why would I allow that? Fear. That's what it always is. The fear that, what if they're right? What if I'm wrong? What if they are the only one? There's 8 billion people on this planet. And this one who's asking me to do things that are not in alignment with me is the only person that can assist me? That's insane. And yet we fall for it. We fall for it. And so that's where you start. You can only start where you're at, It's all these men and women have to start where they're at and take a look at it. And it's a long road. It's a trek. It's a trek back to yourself, depending on how far you went and what you went through and all the shit that happened along the way. Because once you hurt yourself by abandoning yourself, you may or may not realize it, but you turned into a raging lion who was bleeding everywhere, and you ripped everybody else to shreds and bled all over them because you left you. So you got everybody else a mess too. So now you got to go through all that. It's no joke. It is no joke. But they're showing me there's a spot in Revelations that talks about like there's nowhere to hide. Well, because you're with you. So it's like just recognize what you were telling yourself And you do, it's, well, so, I mean, they're also showing me many other teachers who will tell you not to look back and just let it go and move forward. But I was just going to say, it's not very spiritual. And this is a very spiritual world where that's just not the reality of it. Sometimes you have to turn and face that, or you will always be running from. And you want to live your life running from. So it's worth turning and just facing that demon, that shadow, that whatever it is, and taking a real look at it, because what it's going to walk you all the way back to after you get through all the bullshit is the fact that you abandoned you left you chose outside of you did that. It began with you and it ended with you, because you're going to end it. You're going to end that cycle. You're going to shore up that spot. You're going to heal yourself. You're going to love yourself. You're going to choose yourself. You're going to choose what stays in alignment with you. And that does mean going after your heart's desire, but after your heart's desire in an aligned state, not in a seeking outside to get, right? And so, they just keep showing this and like how much work needs to be done. And it's like, first of all, we don't have to make it so difficult, and yet we do. And we do just because we've left ourselves for so long. We've abandoned ourselves for so long. So then people just want to jump right to feeling good. And it's like, yeah, who doesn't? And some people can. This is why it's like to each their own. I mean, really, it really is just a matter of how far and how long have you been out of alignment. In other words, the message for some people who have always been in alignment and have always been peaches and cream, you don't even need to listen. Don't listen. Go live your life and face forward. It's more for those who are like, I am in so much fucking mental anguish and I cannot get my shit together. I can't get my life together. I can't figure things out. I can't see straight. And this is why they'll always take me to spots in the Bible, because it's like a psychology book of when you've abandoned yourself, when you've left your alignment, where you are, what stage of the game you're in, and what you're experiencing. And it's like, oh shit, that is what I'm experiencing. It's like, it'll tell you the steps you need to take, the psychology book, the maze of your mind, the lessons you need to learn, how you need to see them clearly so that you can move forward clearly and do better, right? Because once you see, you have to do better. It's like, you see you weren't honoring yourself. Let's do a more simple one. You see let's do people pleasing. Sorry, just because I used to be. So it's like you see that people pleasing is manipulating, right? It's trying to soothe somebody else's ego so you can feel comfortable, but it's lying and it's not allowing anybody to grow. So it's manipulating to get peace, right? But can't you have peace without anybody changing? If they're going to rage, to let them rage. That's on them. That's their stuff to do. That's not your work to do. So it's like you're actually interfering with universal law when you people please. And you're lying to yourself, you're abandoning yourself, and you're going to have your own karma. So it's like we just have such a warped view on so many things because we have adapted to our environment. We've tolerated so many things because we get tired of speaking up about it, or we get tired of trying to whatever. And it's like, none of that needs to be done. We need to heal so that we can be at peace anywhere, anytime. And in order to honor yourself, you need to go to places where it's more conducive for that. You don't need to stay in the tsunami zone once you recognize you're in the tsunami zone, right? Not that you can't be in peace there, but would you be in more peace more easily somewhere else? Yeah, okay, well then why don't you go there, right? Like there's so many things that we can do to love ourselves and honor ourselves. And it's like, stop picking up the rope, stop playing the game, stop participating in the bullshit. If people want to participate in the bullshit, they still want the drama, they still want the mudslinging, they still want the gossiping, they still want to slide in backwards or manipulate or gossip. Go at it. Let them have at it. You go someplace where it is more conducive to what you are looking for, that is honoring you, that is allowing you to be the example and to stand up straight without it being a battle of a lifetime, right? Like there's no need for all that. There's, and so there's a way to do all this, but that was the broad strokes. More or less, I came on because the original vision was there was a man who thought so little of himself that he tore down, we would call like high caliber women, like women who loved themselves and had a glow about them, that were excited for life, that were thriving, that were confident. And somehow, some way, they're showing them like a sly fox, like cunning, they keep saying. A charming, good looking, that's what it normally is. They come in and it's like eye candy. They catch you, and then they attempt to chop you down, and it can be done. I have experienced that, and many, many, many women have, and it is the forewarning. Like, don't do that. For what? Don't go through all those cycles. It is like Stockholm syndrome and narcissism and egotism, and every label could be thrown into all these stories. Every label you can come up with. But those labels can also add fear at times. So you have to know you. Do you need to be more informed so you can see more clearly on what's going on and understand the gaslighting and all that? Or are you able to jump past all that and be like, slam on the fucking brakes? Where the hell am I not loving myself? What the fuck am I telling myself? Why am I engaging or allowing this to even enter my mind? Why am I giving it any airtime? Meaning, am I giving it any time in my mind, any time to think about it? Why would I even engage in such nonsense? And I need to look at that. Like, why? Okay, I lied to myself there. I was wrong there. Okay, let me correct that and keep moving forward and focusing on what I do want, so I start calling in the correct things. Now that I'm more clear, it's like maybe they said, I want somebody good looking. Well, you got somebody good looking. Is that all you wanted? Because shit, it's a good looking devil in disguise, right? Like, it's that idea. You better get a lot clearer than that. Well, I want this too. And then you get that in and you're like, well, shit. Okay, now I want this, and this. Great. You get that and you're like, fuck. I want this. Next thing you know, you're getting really picky. And your ego will beat you up on either side. You just need to be in balance, And it's like you basically need to just get to be the version of you want to be. You need to get to the highest and greatest version of yourself. You need to be fully loving and embracing yourself as if you're dating yourself, as if you excite yourself. And then you're going to call that in, that equal match. Yes, you will call in a fucking boatload of moths along the way. And you have to build that discernment and that understanding and not gaslight yourself like, fuck, that's where I'm vibrating? That's what I'm calling in? No, you're just shining bright, so you're calling in a lot of fucking moths. Don't give it any airtime, bat it away and keep on moving, right? Like, we have to recognize all these dynamics and not make it so simple that we're missing all the important fine details, and we don't want to get so trapped up in all the fine details that we get stuck in the cobwebs of them. So it's a dance, but you have to figure out the dance for yourself. All right. You know what I'm going to say. I'm going into bAbBLE mode. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.